Well, I'm going to try to keep my ranting down to a minimum for this video. Rant number one, Kubota. I have an RTV-X900. Early version. Okay, so it's got a low serial number. If you go to Kubota and say, hey, I got a torn boot, how much? It's $100. But it's not the right one. That's for the later model ones. The early serial number ones for the X900, if you tear a CV boot, you have to buy the entire axle. Just let that sink in right now. So instead of a $25 part, you got a $600 part that you got to buy. It's not going to happen. Then my next rant is I was in town. I had all the information with me. It's on my phone for the size of boot and everything I need. So I go into an auto parts store, and I'm not going to say which one. Big chain, a lot of YouTubers use them. Good folks. Year, make, and model. Well, they don't carry Kubota parts, so, and they can't CrossFit because they don't have the information necessary to, and it just didn't work out. Fortunately, I live in a small town. I got a Napa down the road here. When I say down the road, it's 7 miles, okay? So it's not like 4 blocks away. I know the owner, his name's Ed, great guy. Really helped me out. And we were able to get one of the boots. And the reason we were able to get one of them is because it is the bottom one down here. It's a standard CV joint. Okay, so it was not that hard. I mean, we spent a half an hour. The top one, though, is called a tri-lobe or a tripod, or depending on who you talk to. And a lot of cars use them, but they're cars and they're big. So I wasn't able to get, Ed wasn't able to get the one that I needed. So I went on Amazon. And I'm going to put the picture up here of what they show and the dimensions and the pictures and everything. It was perfect. It is the exact one that I need. And if you look at the box on it, and I don't know, I doubt I'll be able to pull it up. It has a picture of a tri-lobe right on it. Okay? Where else? It shows it somewhere else here. Oh, on the outside of the box, it shows a tri-lobe. Okay? Non-returnable item. I checked the dimensions on the pictures there. They had the dimensions. And it had, and I'll put it up here, the picture that accompanies the part. And I would show you the English instructions on this. That is the smallest font I've ever seen in my life. Well, if you read the instructions and you look at the pictures, it says follow, for a tri-lobe, follow the instructions, the manufacturer's instructions. They're not on the website, okay? But it's pictured next to the part, and the box has 2 pictures of the tri-lobe on it. So we're golden, right? No. The part comes in, and it is your standard CV boot. There's no tri-lobe in here. There's nothing in here. So I went to the manufacturer, sent him a thanks, said, hey, I got flies in here because we're processing chickens. Got a little problem. You put the wrong part in the box because the box shows a tri-lobe. No response. So I went to the Amazon vendor, and Amazon vendor said, hey, listen, blah, blah, blah. No response. So I went to Amazon. I said, yeah, I know you've got a non-return. This is a non-return item, but the part you sent me doesn't match the picture. No response. Let me tell you what you're supposed to do. I went to the manufacturer, I drilled down, and I blew up the instructions so I could actually read them. And what you have to do is you have to cut this piece off right here and put it in here. So that's what we're going to do today. I'm done ranting. From now on, it's all positive. Edit Napa, thank you. Everybody else, well, I'd tell you how I feel, but you won't respond anyway, so it really doesn't matter. I think we've got all the parts. I'm done ranting. Let's get to work. To get this where we need to be to start working on it, we got to remove these two boots. These are those universal boots that I tried to use. We got to get rid of them. The very first thing is we have to get, this is the tripod end of it, and there's a little clip on the end. I've already pulled it out, so I'm not going to put it back on just to make it look like I'm doing this. I've already taken it off because I wanted to make sure I could actually do it this way. You take that clip off, and then this whole assembly here just pops right off. So it's good to go. The next is I got to get these boots off here, and this is one of them, $45, throw it in the trash. And this here is the warm drive that I was talking about that hits the knuckle down here. So otherwise, this one down here might work, but with the worm drive, it won't work. So we're going to take that, and we're just going to set that aside for now. Let me get a screwdriver, and I'll pop this guy off. I tried using down here, I tried using just a metal band to shrink it down, but I was pulling so tight on it that I actually broke a stainless steel tie wrap. So anyway, that didn't work. Let me get a screwdriver and we'll get this guy out of here. Now, one thing you'll notice, I didn't pull the axle out of the knuckle. And the reason I didn't do that is I don't know how, which made it real easy, because I literally did not know how. So, get this guy off. And this is one of those split boot universal ones, and it should just slide off. And there it goes. And it's off. And it's off. But see, I tried to use one of these stainless steel zip ties, and like I said, I was pulling so hard, I busted it right off. So that one's done. I've already greased it up when I did the first one, so the grease on here is fine. This here is the one that Ed at Napa bought for me, and this is its part number, and I'll put all these part numbers, I'll put both of these part numbers down below. This one is $28. That's it. That's all it takes. So we'll put this guy on, we'll get this clamped up here, and we'll put that in the right spot, and we'll get its clamp in place, and we'll be done. And I've not used this type of band before. I'm used to using their metal zip tie, so you'll have to forgive me if I do this incorrectly. And if there's somebody out there that knows the best way to do this, please let me know. I think you just get them on there as far as you can, then they'll hook in like that, and then you crimp it right there. The CV boot comes with grease, and it comes with a couple of clamps on it. This one it just seems like it's too big. When I tried to put it on and squeeze it around, it just bent. This is a standard stainless steel zip tie, and I've used these for a million things. Lately, the last thing I used them for was my solar project, attaching the cables and stuff to all the posts. And I didn't want to just use regular old plastic zip ties. There you go. That's on there, and then it's almost exactly like a zip tie gun when you put this guy in and crank it down, and it just holds it. Get it in there as far as you can, and then when you get it tight to where you want it, you just cut it with this little arm here, and it just snaps it off. And there you go. This is super easy to use, and like I said, I've used them for a lot of things. If you use a plastic zip tie, you can use these stainless zip ties in the same spot, and you don't have to worry about the sun affecting them. However, on this one, on the bottom one, on this bottom one down here, it looks like it went right in, and the only thing you have to do once you get it to here, you just have to pinch this close, and that'll suck it down. So let me go get the tool for that, and we'll finish that up. And here you go. These are just, I mean, I use these for plumbing and crimp rings and stuff. And there you go. That's on there. Now let's see if it pops off. No, we are good to go. So the bottom boot is done. Let's do the top boot. Okay, this here's a split boot, so I have to glue it together, but it's also universal. And this top little section here it's too small, so I'm going to cut that off, and I'm going to glue this here together. Then I'm going to slip the boot over. I'll take the bearings, put them back in, put the ring back on, and then I have to cut the piece out and glue it in here. So that's the plan. Okay, the first thing we need to do is get rid of this top piece here. It's too small, and we'll use this next one here down. So I'm just using sheet metal shears. I'm going to cut it off. There you go. So now we've got a little bit bigger hole. So this will now fit over the shaft itself, the axle shaft itself. Before I glue this up, I'm going to cut this piece here out. I'm going to cut this piece here out and see how it fits inside there. Well, let's just do this. And it really doesn't. And that's going to be hard to pull down. What if we go to the next one? We go to the next one. No, that's too big. We'll go to here. Get it up in there. Anyway, I got to get this here cut off. It's going to make a huge mess, so I'll bring you back when I get this cut off and the grease out of there. And this here is what I'm going to be using to glue these two ends back together. When I originally took this off, I just cut it off and that was that. So now it looks like I need it. And we'll hold that for a while. And that should seal up. There we go. We'll just set that aside. Next thing we want to do is we want to glue this boot up. It's a split and it's got a groove on one side and a ridge on the other side. And we just got to run the glue in there and then glue this guy together. We may still have to do some trimming, but we'll get that when we get closer. Gotta get all these little things lined up before the glue sets up. And that's not that easy. There we go. You just gotta hold this for a little bit and it'll glue up. Okay, I got it all glued up here, but I'm running into a problem. And that problem is this is too big. It doesn't fit in there. So what I need to do is I need to cut this ring here off and use this internal ring here, which is fine. That's what they're designed to do. So let me get this cut off, get this glued back in here, and we'll get on to the next step. Okay, I've cut that ring there off, and now I'm going to slide this one in, and it's going to have to stretch to get it on there, which is fine, but I'm going to have to glue this up and let it set overnight before I can stretch that over it. Okay, so let me go do that. Well, I cheated a little bit. I used some activator here. I do woodworking and I use this stuff all the time. So anyway, there's the boot. Now we just got to put this guy inside and hopefully it'll stretch, and then we'll be on our way. And there you go. Now, I'm going to do something else. I'm going to take all this apart now. I'm going to take this again. I'm going to put super glue on the inside, Loctite 401, on this ring here, and then glue this boot to this ring. Okay? So let me do that. I just want to make sure I could stretch it in there. And it went just fine, so I think we're good. I'll just liberally put all this in there, and I hope my lighting here is decent. There you go. I got some on that side. Now I'm going to put some on this side here, on the high spots. And I'll get some on my fingers, of course. And if you're curious, the activator is acetone, but it's a common woodworking. Oh, I'm getting it stuck on everything now. And I'm gluing my fingers together. And there you go. I glued it inside. Next thing we'll do, we'll put this on the axle itself. Okay, we've got this guy all glued up and ready to go. I'm just going to drop it on now, just to kind of get it in place. And I'm not going to crimp it down or anything, put the clamps on it until I actually get it up in the unit. Because I think that's going to be the best thing to do. Slide the boot on, put these little guys back in, and clean the grease off your fingers. Put this clip back in, and then let's get this guy back in the Kubota. Okay, this is not going to be the easiest thing to see, but right up in there is where the tri-lobe bearings go, and then the boot goes around that. So I have to fit this up in here. Everything's catching, and just get that to fit in. So step one is to get those guys up there in like that. Okay, so that's in. Now the next thing I'm going to do is install the bottom knuckle. There we go. So I've got the tri-lobe installed up front. Now I'm putting the bushing in, or the knuckle back in. Bring it up a bit. There we go. That feels pretty lined up right there. See, I give it a couple taps. There we go. And let's get the top one in. Bring it up a bit more. Of course, I'll be right in your way. Yep, a little too high. How you cut the tip of your finger off, in case you're wondering. Get this guy lined up, get it started, give it a couple taps, and there you go. Well, the rain started up, so it's going to get awfully loud in here. You probably won't even be able to hear me. First thing I'm going to do, I'm going to get these spring compressors out of here, and then we'll get back up inside there. Get that boot on and get done. Okay, this is going to be pretty much a three-step process. First thing I want to do is get the boot up in place, and I've got to find where the little lobes are, and then stretch it over. And we almost got it. And I think that's it. Okay, the boot is in place. So now what I want to do is I want to put the bottom band on first, and then I'll put the top band on. So hold on, let me go get my bands. Okay, the first one is going to be the easiest, and it's probably the one you can't even see. It's going to be this bottom one. And I'm just going to slide the band on. Let me see if I get my hand out of your way there. Slide it up in here,
tighten it down. One thing you really got to watch out for is the far side. You want to make sure that the back of the band and everything's not like falling off the back or something. Now, because of the size of the tool here, it's pretty big. It's going to be kind of a pain to get this, so slide the tool on, run it down, cinch her up, and cut her off. It's nice and tight, cut it, and you're done. That band is in place. There you go. Now the top one. Now, I've decided to use the one that they sent in the kit. And the reason is the tool to cinch it up tighter is much smaller. So because I've got it all already all the way on, I gotta open this guy all the way up. Not that hard, you just back those off and there you go. So we'll wrap this guy around, and just like you would a normal CV joint, nothing special here. But again, make sure the side that you can't see is in the right spot. And you just click it on down just as tight as you can get it with your fingers. Just keep working it. And then, again, before you crimp it down, oh, see how this is out? This side over here is out. So I got to back up a little bit and fix that. Get that back under there. There we go. Just keep walking it down. And it's stuck. Yeah. Oh, got it. Freed it up. There we go. Got another click out of it. Let's see if we can get another click out of it. Just walk it around. Click. Alrighty. Now I checked the back with my fingers. And oh, it popped off on me. So I gotta push that all back around. And as far as I can tell, I have that thing right where I want it. So now we're going to bring in the plumbing tool and cinch these guys down. I got to kind of slide this around so I could get it in a place where I could squeeze it. Sorry, my arm's right in your way. Again, make sure it's on and crimp. And there you go. Okay, done. There we go. So we got the boot all back in place. We got both new boots in. I'm going to list all the part numbers down in the description that I used, and anybody that comes up with better parts, put them in the description, and help pay it forward and help people in the future. The job is done. Was it perfect? Oh, heck no. Did we make progress? Yes, we did. Thanks for watching, folks.